know, man, like once you exit onto McFarland Boulevard, 259, and you travel toward the campus, man, you'll notice construction everywhere. Well, of course, due to the University of Alabama. There's new apartments, condos, shopping centers, and coffee shops all down 15th Street. But once you cross that bridge and you enter the west side, you'll find a developer by the name of Leonard Jones, who's rebuilding the city, started right here on the west.
I think the real estate, that's my newfound love. I found another passion, for taking the house from shit and turning to sugar,
Yes, sir. And especially in the areas that you was finding the homes and stuff at. Looking at where you were looking at in the area as far as with your development, looking at how you just changed these homes that were pretty much, they ran down, grass everywhere, places that quote unquote people didn't want to go. But now you had them looking like just star-studded establishments.
Portfolio started over on the west side. The first property was the car wash. And my Uncle Flint had told me about it. And when I first got there, everybody was looking like, bro, why you gonna buy an old gas station? I ain't see the vision. I ain't see the growth in that particular area. But one day I was working on it and a guy came by and he stopped and he said, hey, you might need to try to buy that. They finna start doing some developing up through this area. But at the time, I didn't see the vision. But you fast forward, and now they redid the river wall. They're going up through West End, and we got basically West End is finna be like a high-end type area. And I got a corner lot with a house next to it. Actually, probably gonna be two of the most valuable properties on the portfolio. And because it leads right to River Road, and River Road leads right to the road where a lot of RVs be parked, and it leads you directly into the university. So those two probably end up being the first property, and I got it. And once I was done paying it, Mr. Pruitt had asked me, I had been asking him about the house, and I was like, hey, hey, you want to keep, just roll over and put another down payment? And we end up doing another owner finance. So that's another real estate. That's another way that you can do an owner finance, basically talk to the owner and get the owner to finance it to you without going through the bank. Sometimes it could be, they might want to put interest rates in, and sometimes they might can work a deal. See, we started out, it was on Skyland. We had Aces over on Skyland, and Dump me ended up hitting me up, a friend I dirted. He was down there, his sister had a club, so we actually went down there, got the club, started remodeling, so we was finna get in the process of getting the license. So we had remodeled it, and we was on to the next step, and the building got sold. So I actually ended up being one of my good areas. He come over to lock chains. I'm like, damn, what's going on? He told me somebody else had bought the building. So I'm a little salty with him, but he just doing his job.
Ralph and I first met when he had Aces. That was a restaurant located right here in Tuscaloosa on Skyland. And then it was just a restaurant. My wife and kids would go by, frequent the place. We heard about how good the food was. And just as we fell in love with it and wanted to go back, went by one Sunday after Sunday dinner, my stomach growling in church. It was closed. Reached out to Ralph, and he didn't tell me how much money he put into it, but having worked in the restaurant business, I know that project was probably maybe $80,000 or $90,000. Now, the reason I like to share that story is he reached out to me again. There was some opportunity, a club that used to be the Prime Choice that's currently Spade.
So we end up, exchanging numbers, and on down the line, he ended up hitting me back like, hey, that option came available. You still interested in it? I'm like, yeah, sure. Not knowing that we had remodeled, did the ceiling, fixed, and get in there. They just stripped it down and turned it into a storage unit. So we get in, I got these. I'm like, oh my God, we got to do everything all the way over from the beginning to the end. So it was a little discouraging.
Build it from scratch again for the second time. So one of the things that I always commend Ralph on is he's not scared, not afraid to, the risk is great, but the reward is even better.
Along the way, it was a lot of obstacles, but I just like, hey, look, man, I ain't finna give up, you know what I'm saying? And if you do your research on the real estate, you know, a lot of developers go to the area where a lot of traffic, like, of course, the university saturated. So what I get a house on the university for, I can get 2-3 houses in the area that they're gonna regenify soon.
True.
And it's gonna, and as the time is gonna shift, you know what I'm saying? Because the university here, we gotta shift this way. You know, after the tornado, they done pretty much covered all the ground, the new grounds that they wanted, and it's shifting. So where we at? We right here on the west side. We close, you know what I'm saying? The west side close to the university, you know what I'm saying?
It is. It's closer to the university. It has a lot of amenities, and it's a lot of culture and stuff here too. And I think that is one thing that people fail to see is that when you are a person who is from the area, you have seen the rise and fall of so many different areas, developments, companies, things of that nature. So when it comes down to that, was the YFM idea was just for the entertainment, or was it created to be able to be something bigger?
As time grow, that's the first commercial type project I did, and it ended up being a real learning curve. I learned a lot about building permits, and you know that ended up being it's on the Industrial Avenue, so that property is steady going up. You know, when we first got to that property, was valued at $350. It's almost worth $500,000 now, so it's steady going. It's in that area, and we ain't even had it appraised. You know, we got parking lot, sprinkler system, central air and heat. So that's just going based off of where it's at. You know, pretty much everything on this west side of town is growing. So, you know, we come in, we added the patio, and, you know, now you got Spades Restaurant and Lounge.
Spades was actually the first real estate property that Ralph added to his real estate portfolio. He already had, I think, 2 or 3 other houses that the current owner had owned and financed for him that I didn't know about at that particular time. So we were able to talk with that investor, explain to him, you know, what Ralph's experience was in the business, in the industry. And I know a lot of people will sometimes call me or reach out to me and say, hey, E, help me find a spot like Spades, like you did with Ralph. Well, to all those people, don't give up on your dreams, but what you're looking at with Ralph is a finished product. We didn't start out with that. It started out when he was at Aces. Matter of fact, before that, him, Q Tony, I think Dump, you all already had a following from doing some promoting and some other things. This is probably all the way back in high school.
Go back to 2007.
That's right. So just to kind of fast forward thing, in terms of a before and after rehab project, there were 3 shotgun houses across the street from Elizabeth Baptist Church.
My first big project was JC. Realtor called me. He said, hey, I got a whole block. You want to buy the whole block? I said, yeah, we're going to buy the whole block.